Hurry up, they're planning at A. Watch that corner. I need help defusing. Oh, good game. Good game, everybody. Whew, that was intense. You know, peripherals allow us to expand our system to support new features such as printing, sound, video gaming, external storage, all sorts of cool stuff. They also enable a wide array of input devices like mouse and keyboards. So knowing how to quickly identify these is going to be a key success to you becoming the best PC technician that you can possibly be. I have a bunch of equipment here, so let's start going over them. Now, this, of course, is a classic keyboard. You're probably pretty familiar with this, right? Typical keyboard. This one is actually wireless here, and we'll talk about that here in a second. But this keyboard is a standard, or well, it's kind of a mini keyboard, but it is a standard keyboard in comparison to something like this, which we call a 10 keyless or TKL keyboard. And as you notice, the right-hand side over here is missing all those. So this is like a smaller form factor kind of keyboard for different tasks. It's actually pretty cool. There's actually another one, and if you're a hardcore gamer, you may have seen it. It looks like a little mouse pad with keys on it, and it's actually got some macro keys, and we just call those one-handed gaming keyboards. They're pretty neat too. The cool thing about these keyboards is they're both actually connected wirelessly, through one of these little unifying dongles that they have. These actually operate on RF technology, not Bluetooth or anything like that. So if you see that on the exam, just make sure you mark down the proper choice. Then of course we've got our favorite, game controllers. These things are just awesome. They enable you can literally pull these out of your console, plug them right into your PC and go with them. Just fantastic. They fit in the hand well, and they're pretty much essential for almost every modern game. And we have extra things like webcams, right? Probably pretty familiar with a webcam, especially in today's day and age. Little USB device that plugs in. Pro tip, make sure you keep a little tape over it when not in use. We have things like joysticks. I'm not even sure if really people get into these anymore besides the Microsoft Flight Simulator, but this is absolutely cool. I remember playing a lot of games like this as a kid. We also have things like external storage that we can use as peripherals, right? And this is just quite simply a little NVMe drive hidden into a USB-C device that we can plug in anywhere and take a bunch of files on the go. Very cool stuff. We also have stuff for sound, right? Microphones for us to be able to communicate. Those connect as a peripheral in USB too. And we also have things such as speakers, right? If you're not using a headset, you've got your sound going through speakers, but you probably might not know where you can actually go in Windows to change these settings. So let's take a look at this. But before we do, I want to mention really quick, sometimes you may see a USB controller resource warning in Windows. And basically what that means is that you have too many devices connected on high-speed ports. And what you need to do is either rearrange them to lower speed ports or possibly give your system a reboot. But there's a chance you can see that on the exam. So now if we go over here into our settings in Windows, we go to our sound applet here. And we can see that we've got a ton of different options here. We can choose what output devices to put sound out. So if I have multiple devices, such as a speaker and a headset, I can quickly choose which one I want my sound to come out. I can adjust the volume in here. I can switch between stereo or mono audio. I can also change up my inputs, right? My microphone settings, my microphone levels, all sorts of cool stuff comes in here. And we have a lot of advanced settings, such as if you wanted to come in here and adjust the individual volumes in your system sounds or in your other programs you're running, you can do it all right here from the sound applet. So again, Windows gives you a ton of options to customize your peripherals and other things. All you have to do is go in there and make those choices. Now I plugged in a microphone, so besides changing your actual sound settings, we can also change our voice input settings. And let's go ahead and do that. You'll see that I had previously an old microphone connected here. I'm going to go ahead and change it to the new microphone I have. And then I'm going to go in here and I want to adjust a few things. Maybe I know that I'm naturally a loud speaker, which I am. So I'm going to kind of just adjust this down a little bit so I don't blow out my colleagues' eardrums. And there's a ton of other things you can do. You can actually test your microphone to see if it works and adjust all sorts of other things, as well as choose what applications are allowed to use your microphone. And that's it. That is our Windows peripherals. It is awesome. It is easy to configure, easy to get in there and get hands-on and set up your devices. And it's quite simple.